Hi, I'm Doug Lapp, Town Administrator here in Rockland. With me today is Fire Chief Scott Duffey, and we're here to talk about the fire station building project. Chief, thanks for being with me today. Could you talk a little bit about why we still need a new fire station?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Doug. It's a great opportunity to discuss the fire station project. Currently, we've been working on this since 2018, and we've been pretty vocal about, the station uptown. It's just we've outgrown that station. It's a great location, but we just don't have room to expand. One of the things that we're finding is storage space, predominantly or mostly for the vehicles and for the equipment. We're a small fire department. We have to fit everything that we need on a response onto, the vehicles that we use. We don't have the luxury of big cities where they have different trucks for different reasons. So our trucks keep getting bigger. As our mission grows, our trucks are getting bigger, and we're running out of room in the station for the trucks. Nothing's becoming smaller. Sleeping quarters, the firefighters, they work 24-hour shifts. They have sleeping quarters, within the stations. They're just very large bunk rooms. There's very little privacy. In today's modern fire departments, we're seeing a more diverse workforce. We're getting to positions where we need privacy. Firefighters need privacy throughout the living quarters. And then just the general equipment, the equipment that the firefighters wear. More turnout gear, cancer awareness within the fire service, our missions, trying to make that separation of when we come back with dirty gear. It needs to be cleaned properly, dried properly, and then put away. And as there's no room in the station to properly put it away. You have, even though it's been washed, there's still contaminants within the firefighters' gear that the firefighters are exposed to. And right now in the station, there's no separation. So you have eating areas next to, where the gear is being stored, where the trucks are stored. It's a health issue for the firefighters. And again, going back to that cancer awareness, it's a big deal for the firefighters. Some of the other topics that we have, lack of training. We have a pretty decent size training room to sit and do, educational training through videos, presentations, but we don't have actual training area to go out and train on ladders, to train on hoses, to train on the trucks. If we wanted to train on the ladder truck, for example, we don't have anywhere on the property that we can pull that truck out, set it up, put the outriggers, and put the main ladder up. We have to go to an off-site location. So those are some of the areas that we're trying to resolve with a new station.
That makes sense. So 2 years ago, the town asked voters to approve funding for a new station that would be located on the corner of Church and Howard Street, also known as the Lincoln School site. And at that time, the cost of the project was estimated to be $33.2 million. That project, as you know, failed to get voter approval at the ballot, and it failed at town meeting. The cost of that project in today's dollars is about $36 million. So can you talk a little bit about the work that's been done since voters rejected that prior plan? Has the problem been fixed some other way? What's been happening?
Sure. No, we listened. The Fire Station Building Committee, which is comprised of some town residents, a few of the firefighters that are on the job now. We listen to the residents. We listen to their concerns. Rockland doesn't need that big of a station. We can't afford that big of a station. So we went back to the drawing board. We worked with the architects. We did another architectural building study, and we reduced the size of the building. We cut out, instead of designing a building for the next 50 to 100 years, we designed a station that is going to accommodate today's fire department as well as maybe 10, 15 years into the future. Anything beyond that, we'd have to go back to a drawing board. But, enough to accommodate, some of the safety concerns that we're talking about, and also hopefully trying to meet what the residents feel is what they can afford.
Okay, so this new Plan B, which I've referred to it occasionally, which the Select Board has supported, is significantly smaller and less expensive than the project that was proposed 2 years ago. Can you talk a little bit more specifically about what's been cut from the design? And if it passes, is it still going to be sufficient for the needs of the fire department in the future?
It will be. So overall, we've cut approximately 22% of the building. So almost a quarter of the building has been reduced. One of the large areas was a mechanics bay. You know, we're hoping to be able to put a mechanics bay for all town vehicles, just not fire department vehicles, to have a town mechanic to be able to hopefully save the town some money on repairs. We reduced that office space. One of the things that, you know, right now the fire prevention officer and the deputy fire chief are sharing an office. The shift officers also utilize that office when they're not there. So we reduced the amount of office space that we were hoping to get with the first design, and then bunking areas. You know, we were hoping to accommodate a department of 40 personnel, 10 per shift at its highest. Now we're down, you know, we've accommodated, or we've created bunk space in the new design to meet today's 32 firefighters.
Okay, that's great. And so, in this new project has been cut down to about $26.1 million compared to, in today's dollars, $36 million, which was the cost for the prior project that failed. So a pretty big reduction from $36 million down to $26.1 million. So if this new project gets approved and constructed, are there any opportunities for potential expansion in the future if you need to?
Absolutely. That was one of the big items the fire station building committee wanted to ensure, was that a room was left in order to expand the station. And the architect Schwartz and Silver out of Boston, they've been excellent to work with, and they made sure that the station is situated, or the design station is situated closer to the Church Street side, leaving room for expansion towards the back of the property. Currently, it'll be parking lot, training area, but there is definitely room. And even within the design of the building itself, the way the hallways lie, there is definitely, you know, they could seamlessly do it.
That's great. So, as you know, there's a lot of information about this project on the town website, including a calculator where anybody can put in the assessed value of their home to get an estimated cost, an estimated tax increase for this project. Voters are going to be asked to approve this through a Proposition 2.5 debt exclusion to raise taxes to fund the project at our annual town election on April 12th. And regardless of whether that ballot question passes or not, it'll also be discussed and voted at our annual town meeting on May 5th. But in order for the project to move forward, as you know, it needs to pass at both the ballot and town meeting. So for the public's benefit, the average single-family home value is currently $517,355. So for a home valued at that $517,000 amount, the average annual tax increase will be approximately $224 per year, which equals about $56 a quarter, or about 61 cents a day. So at the annual town meeting, voters are also going to be asked to fund the demolition of the Lincoln School, which would be funded from our surplus revenue, also known as free cash. Can you talk about why the cost of the demolition of the Lincoln School is being requested separately from the new building project? Sure.
One of the big parts of getting the Lincoln School down is public safety. Currently, it's a vacant property. While it's not abandoned, it is still a risk for vandalism, for fire, theft. People to get in and out of, to go in, you know, illegally, trespass. So to have it taken down will pure public safety, in addition to, you know, less blight throughout town. You know, I think we as a town with a town building need to lead by example, and taking down that school is how we do that.
That makes sense. Pivoting back to the new building project, one question I've heard from the public is whether you're purchasing new vehicles or new apparatus that are simply too large, and if you would just order smaller vehicles, then we wouldn't need a new building. Can you respond to that comment?
Yeah, I touched upon that a little bit earlier. Like I said, you know, we're not a Boston, a Chicago, a New York, where certain types of vehicles have certain missions, and you know, if you have a certain mission, only that vehicle goes. with 6, 7 personnel on duty, we do it all. So we need to ensure that we have the right tools with us at all times, the right equipment. And so we try to pack as much of the proper equipment onto the vehicles. So our vehicles are a little bit larger in that aspect. We have to have hazmat, hazardous materials response equipment. We have to have technical rescue response equipment, in addition to fire equipment and medical equipment for all the calls we may handle. It's not easy if we're down the north end of town to have to run back to the fire station to get a different vehicle. So the vehicles are getting bigger. They're certainly not getting smaller. And unfortunately, the current station just not designed for the larger vehicles. Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense. And sticking on the vehicle subject, as you know, the Select Board recently voted to put a capital outlay expenditure exclusion before voters to fund the purchase of a new fire department ladder truck. And that's going to be at both the spring annual town election and the May annual town meeting, along with the debt exclusion for the new fire station building project. That ladder truck you've estimated to cost $2 million. And if it passes at both the ballot and at town meeting, it'll raise taxes for only 1 year, then it'll immediately and permanently disappear the next year. So it's only a 1-year tax increase, and it'll be approximately $300 for the average valued home in Rockland. So if it passes, it'll occur and then fall off the tax bills prior to the longer 30-year debt, the longer 30-year tax increase that'll fund the fire station building project. So can you talk a little bit more about exactly why we need a new ladder truck now and when the current one was purchased?
Sure. Our current ladder truck is a 1999 ladder truck. Appears to be in good shape. And we did a refurb on the truck back in 2018. The town put about $240,000 into it at that time. Originally, the truck was purchased for about $480,000 26 years ago. Since then, just the regular wear and tear, the New England weather, the salt in the roads, it's become more of a mechanical headache. I would say in the past 5.5 years, we've spent pretty close to $79,000, $80,000 in repairs. And while the truck, it's not out of service by any means, but what we're finding is when we do go to repair it, we're having trouble finding the parts for it due to its age. Additionally, if we were to order a new truck, or lucky enough that we were able to order a new truck, it's going to be about 48 to 50 months to get a new vehicle. And that's a nationwide, epidemic that the fire service is dealing with, just the length of time that it takes to get a new fire truck.
So it's already 25 years old, and even if we got authorization and put the order in tomorrow, it'll take at least a year or two before a new one comes in. So
it could be up to 4 or 5 years.
Up to 4 or 5, yep. Going back to the building station, if this revised Plan B for the fire station project fails to get approval, what next? What will happen if this fails to get voter approval?
It's not like we can close down the current station. We're a 24/7 service to the town, and we'll always be there for them. We're going to have to squeeze in and make do with what we have. The big concern is the safety and health of the firefighters. That's the goal here, is to provide a working environment to keep them safe, as well as to properly store the equipment. But without that, we have to seriously consider, modifying or renovating the station, which is going to have its own costs that we saw throughout this project. And, part of that is $1.7 million to relocate the firefighters to a temporary station or a temporary housing situation while a renovation occurs.
Gotcha. So we'll still need to invest money one way or the other, but we'd be putting, in a sense, good money after bad into a building that's too small and is really out of date.
Correct.
Yeah. In addition to this video interview, what other types of community outreach are you going to be doing for the project?
So over March and within the first week of April, we plan on doing multiple presentations. We have presentations scheduled with the Phelps Parent Advisory Council. We have at the Leisure Woods committee, their community meeting, will be presenting to the Leisure Woods community, and also at the Nyman Senior Center. We have and the public are more than welcome to join us at the Nyman Senior Center for that. And hopefully prior to town meeting or to the election, we are going to have a meeting here at the high school at the lecture hall. In addition to that, there is a ton of information on the town website. There are flyers, these flyers right here. We have these in every town building. There are posters in many of the town buildings explaining the project. Little teaser, we've put together a tour of the fire station, a pictorial tour of the fire station with 360-degree views of the entire station. And that'll be coming out hopefully early next week.
That's great, and we have a lot of information on our social media platforms too, which
Correct.
can reach additional people. So if people have questions that weren't addressed in this interview, but can't attend one of the outreach meetings, what's the best way for them to get their questions answered?
Sure. Anybody can call me at any time at the fire station. You can call the main fire station number, follow the prompts to the fire chief. That's 781-878-2123. They can email me. My email is firechief@Rockland-MA.gov. Or if you want, just stop in and see us. And I'd be more than happy for people to stop in and ask for a tour. We have nothing to hide. I think the more people that come in to see the station will realize the conditions in which the firefighters are working.
That's great. So thank you very much, Chief, for sharing this really important information. And thank you all for watching. If you found this video informative, please feel free to share it with others. Thanks for watching.